Dad and I might have found something very, very wrong. This is exhaust. This is intake. These are exhaust, intake, exhaust. But we just realized that somebody wrote on here, I for intake on the exhaust, E for exhaust on the intake, and so on and so forth down the line. Problem is, we put this on here now and we can't see, so that's why I'm trying to review the pictures to see what we've got. Another shop that we are not familiar with, and we assume that they did everything correctly. I'm not 100% sure, but I am 98% sure. Is that enough for you?
All right.
How many times do we have to get beat before we quit? We're mad at Whiskers, but today we're going to pull the head off Whiskers and see what the problem is. While Dad's cleaning up buckets, I'm going to go ahead and undo the head and take the exhaust and everything here off the top. Same old song and dance. And we're going to skip most of this because you guys have seen all of it. And we're just going to update you when we find anything interesting. Got the pony motor loose. We can rock it back for our seal. We got the head bolts all out. We're going to go ahead and pull the head and we'll have a look and see. We're going to see if we actually have a folly putting the copper coat on this head gasket. How easy this actually comes off of there. That stuff's pretty tacky and it may ruin this head gasket. If that's the case, I've got another new old stock copper one like we put on Lefty on order from England. So it might get here in time to put it back on or put another head on here, or we may end up pulling the engine off of here. If it does come to that point, we're definitely taking the engine block into Family Machine and we're going to have them look at it because we have learned our lesson after what? 6 times? 8?
This will be the 6th time, yes.
Yeah. We're slow learners. Oh, yeah. Every single one of them is full of water.
Now, I don't know.
I mean, the head gasket looks like it's sealed around all the correct places. That's a new one. Yeah, I mean, look here. All the water ports are sealed around, you can see. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't see where that one leaked through. That one could have.
Yeah, that one might have. Maybe even this one here.
This one didn't.
Right here next to the liner. Yeah. Did our valves hit the top of the pistons?
No, why would you say that?
Because look at how fresh those marks all look.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Yes.
You see that?
I do. Every one of them. And you know which one's banging them?
What?
The exhaust. That's the exhaust.
Something ain't right.
Exhaust, exhaust, exhaust.
You can clearly, here's an exhaust. It's much taller. And then these two are exhausts, they're taller. And then that outside one's taller.
Right.
I think they got the wrong valves in here and the valves are hitting the pistons.
Yeah.
And of course it ain't going to seal if the valves are hitting the pistons. It's moving that head up and down.
Right, which make the head gasket not seal.
Not to mention bust and bend stuff.
Yeah.
Remember when we put this head on and we saw the marks that somebody putting intake exhaust on the wrong ones? We're going to check that, but we have some serious questions about whoever did the machine work on this head. And I know it ain't the ones that we took Lefty's heads to. We're really happy with that machine shop, but we are not happy with this situation at all. There's the exhaust witness mark on number 1. Exhaust witness mark on number 2. Exhaust witness mark on number 3. Exhaust witness mark on number 4. I'll set it down and then we'll take a look. Oh, yeah, you can see.
You can see them.
Where it was banging.
Yep.
You know what? They do have the wrong valves and the wrong ones. This says intake.
Yep.
Oh, man. I said in the video that I was 98% sure that they were right. Well, that 2% bit us again. Yeah. I can see it on here. It says in. And I know that's
this one does too.
They got the valves in the wrong places.
Yep, this one says in right there.
What kind of machine shop does this?
Look at this one on the intake. EX.
Yep.
They got them reversed.
Well, we didn't send sparkly bits out the exhaust.
We didn't run it long enough.
We were told when we bought this that the machine shop that did this is no longer in business. And now I can see why.
And our machine shop has experience with these. Now they've put two together for us.
Yeah. In a way, I'm kind of happy.
I am too.
Because
we kind of know.
Yeah, and it wasn't anything we did. I wasn't vigilant enough. I thought that it looked like E for exhaust on there. But what I was seeing was the intake. And they are the wrong valves in the wrong place.
They got them just opposite. How far it's sticking, it's almost sticking below the plane of the head.
We're going to try and get the gasket off.
We want it off anyway.
Yeah,
so.
That's pretty sticky stuff.
I think it's good to use.
Yeah, probably. We got spare valves. We got spare valve springs. I've got guides. I've got new old stock ones they didn't use before we can send with it. Boy, was I wrong. I thought I could see, my eyes are no good.
Remember that day I was really worried about
Yeah, we should have pulled it off right then and there. But we had just installed the thing. But it would have saved us a little heartache.
I don't think there's any harm done. We'll clean them out. I'll drain the oil out of that tractor and we'll marble mystery the cylinders real good.
Yeah.
Let everything dry up, and I don't think it hurt anything yet.
I don't
think it's banging them too much.
No.
Just a few thousandths, but
I'm sure that those valves are bent. It has to have bent them. Those are intakes too. They're not as heat treated as the exhaust ones.
It's hard to tell.
But I don't think they use the right valves either. I don't know. And I don't think they cut the seats right because they're actually protruding a little bit. I don't know.
They're pretty high.
It'll be interesting to see when we take this to a real machine shop what other carnage we find in there. Worst case scenario, we do have the RD4 head off of Redemption over here. It's actually waiting for a paint job. So if this thing's not salvageable, we have a out. It's very unfortunate for head case because that's going to kind of condemn him. We won't have a head for head case.
We're looking at this, how every one of these are a different height.
Yes.
And you look on the one we just put on Lefty over there and that head over there, all these valve stems and the springs are at the same height.
Yes.
I think they got the wrong valves in.
I think they got a lot of wrong things in this. Yeah. I think that they made some big errors.
They're all absolutely perfectly even.
Yes, they are.
See there? The valve stem tops, the top of the spring keepers, everything's all on a perfect plane.
Yep.
That one is not.
No.
And look how these are recessed.
Yeah, the valves are all recessed. They're probably, they are cut to the 45 degree, the seat and the valve. And these are new seats.
This one has new seats in it. That's right. With bronze guides.
Bronze valve guides. Is that this head was removed for some reason, and it was showing symptoms. It was getting pressure in the coolant. So is this, are these valves maybe where they were? Maybe it was wrong all along? Is the head cracked? Is the water jacket cracked? We don't know yet. We're really trying to solve this mystery, and it's kind of weird. We know that the rockers were bent. There was a bent push rod, too. And the previous owner took the head off of it because it was getting water, exhibiting the same symptoms. But it makes me wonder if somebody had done this valve work before, put the wrong valves in, and then had the same problem. I don't know, we're really trying to put this together so that we can narrow down what our possible problems are from the symptoms. We're going to load it up, and Dad's going to take it in, and I'm going to go to Greenland, and Dad's going to work on this with Miss LAOL and other family members. So See you guys when I get back. It'll prevent the head from crushing you, hopefully.
Or at least help. It's so heavy it'll probably pull these hooks right out of the car.
Probably. I don't think this is what Volkswagen envisioned when
it was made for holding the ladies' groceries. They water tested it, and it didn't even get 2 pounds. It was pushing water out around the pre-combustion chambers here profusely. And I just got it back here. I pulled this one, and I got to tell you, I could almost pull it with my fingers. It was so loose. And if you look over here, this was a brand new copper ring. And if you look at it, I haven't even cleaned it up. And it isn't even begun to crush. So I talked to a very experienced antique Caterpillar fellow yesterday, and he said that these got to be pushed in with 1.5 to 2 tons of force. We've been just drawing them in with the injector and the injector clamp hold down, and that isn't near enough. So the plan is to take these all out, clean everything up beautifully, and he suggested using the silver Never Sees, not the copper coat, but the silver stuff, and he said liberally coat this washer, all of this around here, and everything on this thing very liberally, and press them back in with a minimum of 1.5 tons. This is perhaps a large part of our problem, if not all of it. I'm hoping all of it, because what's happening is water is coming in through here, through those ports that go around that pre-combustion chamber, and it's just going right down into the cylinder. I just flipped the injector retainer over upside down and laid it across here, used my spacers, and tighten these down to hold that pre-combustion chamber in there while we take it back and get it tested. So that's my hope that'll work. I'm in the process here. I'm going to show you. I'm using this tool to press these in as tight as I can with this nut under here. Basically the reverse of what we did when we pulled that out. This goes over the top, and I use a couple of nuts and washer here, and then slowly walk this nut up, pushing this down as tight as I can get it. I just got it back, got it in here. They pressure tested it, and right here, as you can see, this is number 3 pre-com. It leaked, and the worst problem is right in here. You probably can't see it with the naked eye, but they've got it circled. This is cracked from clear up in under the seat here, clear out to about here, and leaking. This is the head that I'm going to install on 4G238 over here that's been reconditioned. I've got to put the pre-cups in and get it ready for a test. This is the one that we had down that we showed had leaks in it. I'm currently removing the studs, the hold down studs for the injectors and pre-coms. I got 6 of them out here, and I got just 2 more to go here. They're coming out without too much trouble. So I'm going to continue work on that, clean these up, reinstall them over here in the new one, and then we're going to prepare to start putting in these pre-coms with the new procedure. To a little problem. Problem being, they don't go down in the recess down in there, unlike these on the old head. See how it just drops in and is very loose. The first step up from that small hole in there is where this part of the pre-com slides down in. That's a very tight fit. At least it is in this head. So I did some checking, and you can maybe see here where I kind of forced it in a little bit. If you can see that little shiny ring there, that's how far I got it in. So I think they're supposed to fit very tight. However, on these, they're just super loose. I mean, they drop in. And that might have been why this thing is leaking. You can see the movement there. So what I'm going to do, I think, is emery cloth these a little bit, shine them up so they fit, and I'm going to try putting one in, and we'll see how it goes. But I went out and checked our other 3 heads that have cracks and other problems, and they fit the same way as this one does. We emeryed this one down. Here's our copper ring. I'm going to put it down in there. It's starting to go down in there, so, and it's not offering a lot of resistance. I'm trying to bring both sides equal here. So we're going to just keep going till we get refusal. Then we'll use the hammer trick. Now I feel some resistance. So now we do the hammer trick. So I'm going to have to move you because we're going to be pounding on this thing here. This is an old injector that we don't care about. Then we'll tighten a little bit. And another whack. Boy, it feels solid. It feels really solid. Let's do it again. I don't know if I'm being too ginger or what. We're down in there. Looks like we got a nice seat. I gave it a good whack that time. I think next time I'll put a little oil on here so that these nuts will not gald. I'm going to do it, I think this is number 5. I'm going to whack it pretty good. These feel pretty tight. I've got my torque wrench here. Let's just see. I've got it set to 45. So let's see. I believe these are 1/2 inch. You got to go by the coarse threads that are in the block into cast iron. So you got to use like number 2 grade, not grade 5 or 8. So I believe the chart said dry 49, lubed 39. So I'm kind of in the middle at 45. Let's see what we have on it here. I think she already clicked on me. Yeah, we're definitely there. Yeah, probably more. So, are we good, folks? Is this our answer? This is our last one I've installed. I've got a pretty good procedure here, and I feel pretty confident about it. I'm going to pull this first one out that we put in. I don't know if you can see there, but the O-ring rolled on me. But that's not a big deal. I got plenty of those O-rings, and they're very inexpensive. And I kind of want to pull this and see what we did to our copper washer. and how that all went together, because this is somewhat of an experiment. What I do here is take the torque wrench, set it 45. When I get down, see there's 45 on both of these nuts, nice and even. Then what I do, take this brass hammer, whack it one time, and for about 3 to 5 times, I'll be able to torque it a little bit more. Let's see what we get here. Yeah, see, it's hit refusal. I whacked it, and we're still torqued. So that is good. You can see there where this O-ring rolled a little bit. It's got a sharp edge up there. I might smooth that up a bit, but we'll be a little more careful with the next one. And you can see where this has been very tight in there. Let's look at our ring down in there. You know, I don't think I'm going to remove it. If you look, you can see that it's been flattened all the way around. I'm not going to disturb it because it's seat in its place. Of course, we'll put that pre-com right back in the way it was.
I want to take the time right now to thank two people, Eddie B. and Chad at Antique Crawler Parts. Eddie B for the comment explaining the procedure, and he used to work on these at Caterpillar back in the day. There's actually a special tool, a 2B0399 tamping tool to tamp pre-combustion chambers. Of course, we were just using the old injector that we had. I'd love to get my hands on an original tool, or maybe even make one on the lathe, but that is the correct procedure to install the pre-combustion chambers. At the same time, we spoke with Chad at Antique Crawler Parts, and he reiterated the same procedure. So thank you, gentlemen. This has been something we have struggled with for quite some time with this project, and we're going to have to revisit it on Lefty.
I'm setting this thing up to pressure test it. Got a bunch more clamps. I got what I have. I got 8 clamps on the bottom here, or 7, and I got it pretty well sealed up, and I'm aired it up to 17.5 psi, and I've got no leaks around the pre-coms here, no leaks on the top of the pre-coms up here in this area here, and I do have a little seep around this rocker arm stud right in there, and I don't know why that should be leaking, because that should not go through. But these are through bores for the head studs, and I thought I had a leak in there, but what was happening was my leak on the gasket on the other side, I think, was bleeding through and letting some air come through these, because they're only like a ½ an inch away or less from the water jacket ports. So I think that's what was happening. I think I'm going to go ahead and move forward and put this head on the tractor. I also have this head gasket cleaned up. Got all the former copper coat off. Steel wooled a few of the rough places where there was rust, both sides. And I've got it ready to go. We will copper coat it when we go back on, of course, with our copper coat gasket stuff here. I have my water neck, all we call as the water Rubik's Cube. I've got it all cleaned up, ready to go. All of the bolts. I made new gaskets.
How's it going?
It's going good. We're torquing them the first torque sequence to 90. Then we will go back. We're putting a 1 dot for 90. Then we'll go back at 130 to finish it. And then it's got to be run. So So how many mothers get to say they helped put the head on a D4 Caterpillar on Mother's Day? Pretty rare breed. There, I think you got it that time. Got this Rubik's Cube water neck hooked up on the new head. Injectors are in. Injector overflow all hooked up. We can set one here and then just keep moving forward and we can get her done by ourselves. Firewall buttoned up. Got fresh oil in it, fresh oil filter. Put the water in it overnight, about 20 hours. No leaks. Never dropped in the radiator. Didn't have any problems. I don't have any leaks. Our gasket between the pony motor and the engine is dry. To address that.
As you just saw, Dad has been very busy working on Whiskers here while I was in Greenland, and we don't have a definitive conclusion to this video. There's still a little bit of water. The engine never got warmed up enough that he could retorque the head. That might be part of the problem. The reason he didn't warm it up completely is it actually sprung an oil leak out of the rear main, and the oil where it goes off this manifold up to the head, it was leaking there too. Now we put new oil in here. We put a little bit of Marvel in it the first time we ran it to clean things up, and there it was very sludgy inside that engine. But if you remember right, on Lefty, these have that scroll style on the back of the crankshaft that actually scrolls oil back into the motor. We're a little concerned that the rear main bearing on this engine is probably starting to flake apart just like it did on Lefty. So we will probably have to revisit this and see why that's leaking. We do have head case, the lower end of that engine we can take apart. And we have Redemption out there. We can take that one apart and see if there's some parts in there that will work for this engine here on Dad's RD4. As for the water in the engine, tamping the pre-combustion chambers in like you're supposed to do seems to have solved that issue. Dad pressure tested it. It held pressure. We have one of these studs that comes through here. It actually broke a piece of metal out, and they had to fish it out of the water, so it kind of leaks around one of these studs. We're probably just going to JB weld that in there to hold it. As far as that all is concerned, I think we're okay. The pre-combustion chambers didn't seem to leak. there was a tad bit of water, it may be residual, that did get into the oil that was noticed. Dad measured the level of the water in the radiator, and it has not been dropping, so it may have been residual that kind of settled out in there. It may not have been. We may have other issues. It's hard to say. Essentially, we need to warm it up, run it again, and retorque the head. That could be some of the problems that we're having, but we're hesitating to run it too much until we can figure out the oil leak in the back. So it's a little bit of a catch-22. I think we made progress. I think Dad made progress where we were gone. He got a little frustrated with this. He didn't even do anything with Lefty. Lefty, we're going to tamp the pre-combustion chambers in correctly, and I think we'll hopefully be good to go with Lefty to get to the show.
It's always something with Whiskers.
I gotta say this on camera for Dad, that his intuition is spot on. And most of the time I don't want to believe it. But when we saw that and you were worried, yeah, Dad's, it's always right. It's annoyingly always right.
I'm not always right, but that really worried me.
Yeah, we should have we should have addressed it. Well, I thought I did, but I don't think I saw what I thought I think I saw what I wanted to see on the camera.
Well, we have enough experience with, we know damn good and well that what's intake and exhaust.
Well, we do, but
yeah,
who knows what clowns put this thing together? I mean, ugh. As you just, well, Dad has been very busy working on Lefty while I've been gone. Dad has been very busy working on Lefty here. Wait, Whiskers. Put this in the outtakes, probably.